I'm going to show you how to make baked Alaska. It's a very retro dessert. It's something you can prepare in advance again for Christmas. Again, a week or so, it will sit in your freezer. The type of flavours you put in it are totally free choice. It can be whatever you want. But for me personally, it's a bit nostalgic. I was always a bit fascinated with baked Alaska when I was learning how to cook as a young chef. And it's again something that we have for Christmas every year. So here we go, baked Alaska. First thing you want to do is you want to get your container. Now, I'm going to make a large baked Alaska. It doesn't have to be a large one. You can use a teacup, you can use a pudding basin, but I'm going to do a large one to feed sort of 10 to 12 people, just to show you how simple it is. We're going to do some of the same techniques that we learned when we were doing fudge. So we're going to line this bowl with plenty of cling film, which again is really, really important. So you want to say at least 2 to 3 pieces of cling film, and you want to do it in a couple of directions just to make sure you get a little bit of strength through that. Okay. There we go. With your cling film now, you just want to lower it gently into the bowl. Just to make sure you've got plenty of excess around the edge. So that when you fill your baked Alaska, you can cover up all the sides. Okay, right, there you go, there's your baked Alaska, bowl, ready to go. Now, you can make your base if you need to. You can buy a multitude of things. I really like using this shop-bought Swiss roll. It's got fantastic like vanilla cream in the middle. If you're doing a chocolate-based one, you could use the chocolate Swiss roll, you can use ginger cake, you can use Madeira cake, you can use walnut cake. It really is free reign to create something that will be a bit of a showstopper when it comes out on Christmas Day. So I'm also going to use Clementines because they're nice and seasonal and they're lovely and fresh. We've got some blackberries here and a little bit of stem ginger. Now with the stem ginger, we've got the syrup, which is really important, and we've also got probably about five or six little crystallised pieces here, which is going to make it taste a little bit like an adult tutti frutti kind of dessert with the frozen ice cream. Okay, so what we're going to do with this first off is we're going to get some ice cream and we're going to take it out of the freezer. This has been out for about five, maybe 6 minutes, so it's nice and soft. And it really is a case of filling this up in any order or combination you want. So I've made this last year. We did cherry and chocolate, so we did black forest. I've done it with strawberry and pistachio. Get creative with whatever you would like to put in this. So we're going to start just chucking loads of ice cream, just like that. And you can see it's really soft, so it's nice and easy to mould. Now the only thing that is a little bit helpful, you don't have to do it, is if you can try and put a nice even layer around the bottom to start with, it's just going to help it all stick together. So now we're going to start adding some of your fillings. So we're going to add some clementine segments. Okay, we're going to start adding some blackberries. Like that, okay. Just like that. And then we're going to start adding some of your stem ginger. I'm just going to tidy up a little bit. All right, and then you want to add a nice little bit of that syrup to go around. And you just want to start layering this up. So there's no hard and fast rules, but if you try and work on sort of 2 to 3 layers, you should get an even distribution of fruit all the way through. So nicely sliced stem ginger there. And that's going to add a nice little bit of heat to it as well, just to take the edge off of all the sweetness. Okay, so here we go. We add some more ice cream. There you go. And this is a very big baked Alaska. I don't think I've made one this big before, to be honest. But it will stay in principle, it will still work. So there you go, we've got more ice cream. And you really want to squash it down together, so you mix all the different layers up. And again, you want to add some clementines. We're going to add some more frozen blackberries, just like that. And then we're going to add another layer of stem ginger. Nice and easy. So that's going to go in like that. And you can see already it looks really, really colourful. It just makes you get some of this syrup if you decide to use stem ginger, because it is full of flavour. Then we're going to add some more ice cream on top. Just like that. And it doesn't have to be nice, it doesn't have to be neat. It can be thrown together very quickly. And it's just fun to make. So, here we go. Right, that's your final layer. Now, we're going to get rid of the ice cream. Now we're going to get your base that you've decided. So we've decided to use Swiss roll here, and all you want to do is make sure you've probably got about an inch and a half from the top of the bowl, and whatever the gap on the top of your bowl is, that is how thick you're going to cut your sponge or cake. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this into nice pieces. There we go. And I've got 2 here, but I'm pretty certain it's only going to take about 1.5 to fill this. So, we go again. And all we're going to do is we're going to start putting this round nice and easy. And Swiss roll's quite nice to work with because it's a small piece and it's quite pliable. So you haven't got to worry about fitting in square pieces or triangular pieces when you cut it. I'm just going to put that in there like that. I'm going to put, there you go, 2 more in the middle, okay? So now you've got to this stage, hands. We are going to do the same trick as with the fudge. We're going to fold up the edge of the cling film, cover it over. Here we go. And then you're going to flatten that down. And the best thing to do with that is to use a plate. Now put a plate on top if you're making one this big. If you're using a small cup, you can probably use the back of a fork or a spoon or something, but you need to apply a little bit of pressure to really squash them layers together. So we're just going to lean on this. Don't worry, the cling film's going to stop everything from coming out, but it's just going to make it set a lot easier. Now, that's it. That's all you need to do in preparation. You're going to put this in your freezer and you're going to freeze it overnight and you're going to pull it out tomorrow and you're going to make meringue to cover it. Once you've made the meringue, you can go back in the freezer for up to 2 to 3 weeks again, and you've got a fantastic dessert ready for Christmas. So this is going to go in the freezer now. Your baked Alaska base is in the freezer. The next part is you're going to make meringue. I'm going to show you to make Italian meringue. It's a lot thicker than normal meringue because you cook out the egg whites. It takes a little bit more time and effort, but again, it's really simple, and it just means that when you pull it out and defrost the whole baked Alaska, you're going to have a much better product, so it is worth the extra bit of effort. So what we've got in here is we've got 75 mils of water, and we've got 300 grams of caster sugar. All right, and then we're going to reintroduce our friend here, which is the sugar thermometer. You took the fudge to 120 degrees, really easy. This has got to go to 121 degrees, so it's exactly the same principle. And when you get used to using this, it is a great, fantastic tool. You're also going to add 150 grams of egg whites that you're going to whip up to a foam stage while this is cooking. But a good little tip when you're making any form of meringue is to just coat the inside of the bowl with a lemon. And all that'll do is that'll cut through any grease that's sitting in there that may stop your egg whites from binding and make your meringue collapse. So just rub the inside of a lemon, rub it all around the inside. There's lots of other tips you can do. You can add a little bit of vinegar, some people do, a little bit of salt, but I always find that using a lemon is the best thing. Okay, so we're going to put our mixer together. There we go. You've got 150 grams of egg whites here, which is about 4 to 5 eggs. They're free range egg whites. Make sure you get absolutely no yolk in there, otherwise it won't work. And all we're going to do now is we're going to whiz this up, and it's going to come to a foaming stage, and then you're going to leave it. And it's quite happy to sit there, and then we can concentrate on the sugar. Now we stop the mixer. The egg whites are at a nice thick foaming stage. It won't act like normal meringue because there's no sugar in there. Don't worry about that. You just want to get it so the egg whites are nice and stiff and they're firm, and then the rest of it will come together when you add the sugar, okay? So in this pan here, we have our sugar and our water that are measured out. We've got our sugar thermometer, which we should all be used to using by now. And we're just going to lay that in there. And again, we're going to wait for it to come up to 121 degrees. As soon as it gets to that stage, we're going to have to work a little bit quickly. We're going to turn this back on, and then we're going to slowly pour the very hot sugar into here. And what that's going to do, it's going to cook the egg whites, and it's going to make a really thick, glossy marshmallow type meringue. Now our sugar is nearly at that 121 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the mixer back on, and as soon as it gets to 121 degrees, we're going to very, very slowly pour the sugar and water into here to cook the egg whites. When you do this, make sure you hold on to the end of the handle because it is extremely hot, okay? So we are at 121 degrees, so we're going to discard that. We're going to turn this on. our meringue is now fully whipped. The only thing with Italian meringue, throughout the whipping process, just keep your hand on the bottom of the bowl and check, and you only really want to stop whipping when it's cool, because if you don't, what will happen is the egg whites will continue to cook, and if you're not moving them, they won't get their full volume, and they may split when you come to use it for your baked Alaska. Okay, so this meringue here, as you can see, is super thick. It's really, it's almost like a marshmallow, okay, which is what you want, because we're going to have to toast that soon. So we're just going to get rid of that. Last little bit, okay, it's going to stand there. And then this is our baked Alaska here that has been in the freezer all night. As you can see, it's nice and firm now. So all that nice flavour is mixed together. We've had it pressed, and now, just like the fudge, we're going to pull on the cling film to take it out, and it will come out nice and easy. There we go. Wonderful, look at that. Okay, so now you can take your meringue, like this, okay, and you're just going to start to coat the outside of your baked Alaska. Now you have to work fairly quick, because obviously it's starting to defrost from the whole time that it's out the freezer, but as soon as you've done it, it will go back into the freezer, so don't worry too much, okay. And the best way to cover this, you put it all on the top with a Murray's or a spatula. There we go. Make sure you get the last little bit out, because it will be a bit tight. You just want to start pushing it down. Just start pushing it down the side, okay? Now, you can do a thin layer of meringue, or you can do a thick layer of meringue. And because it is essentially a fairly messy dessert, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. You can make it nice and smooth. You can add lots of edges to it, lots of texture. But the best way is just to keep coming all the way around, spreading from the top, and putting it down the side. Okay, just want to move around as we do that. There we go. Now at this stage, whatever you've put it on, plate-wise, I would advise you keep it onto that plate. Right, hold on, let's do the last little bit. Missed a little bit. There you go. Right, so that's your baked Alaska. Now, at this stage, you can either put this totally back in the freezer until the time that you want it. So if you're getting prepared for Christmas, what you can do is put this in the freezer and it will sit there quite happily for 2 to 3 weeks. If you want to use it now, then we can toast it by putting it through the oven for sort of 3 to 4 minutes, so about 220 degrees, just to toast the meringue. If you've got kitchen gadgets and you want to create a bit of theatre, you can use a blowtorch, and we're just going to toast the outside so it's like marshmallow and put it down in the middle of your table on Christmas Day, and everyone will be more than impressed. There we go. You can lightly toast the meringue all the way around. It smells like toasted marshmallow, and all them little contours and lovely bits you've just created are going to give it wonderful texture. Okay? Now, I'm normally made to do this outside, to be honest, just in case on Christmas Day, but it really does add a little bit of theatre if you've got a lot of people over. And all the hard work is going to be done in advance, so you can have this sitting in your freezer, ready to go, and all you've got to do is toast it or put it through the oven. So that is blackberry, ginger and clementine baked Alaska, and there is more than enough there to feed 12 people. Merry Christmas from the old Ken Bot.